You stand in the doorway, the air thick with accusation. A cheater sits across from you, heart playing silent games with panic and shame, yet you can smell secrets, almost see them shimmer in the light. Time slows. Your mind locks onto one fact: every idea you have about love, relationships, even forgiveness is a lie. You feel the lie snake through your veins. The world told you that pain is just a test, that loyalty rebounds, that understanding cracks open hearts. But what if all of that is smoke? What if the real game is mental, psychological, a battlefield where nerves and neurons make puppets of logic, habit, and desire? There's a sense of urgency pulsing at your wrists. You realize you're not here for sentimental confessions, not even apologies. You crave revelation. You want to hack into the deepest science of betrayal, to split apart the mind and see what glistens beneath the surface. Forget tears. Forget promises. You want answers so raw that truth trembles. This is your moment. 6 questions, razor sharp, distilled from modern psychology and street philosophy. The kind of questions that punch through habit, that rewire the brain, that spark a revolution in confidence and thinking. You will ask them not for closure, but to expose what trust and emotion really mean in a universe ruled by mental patterns. Before you give them a second chance, you have to cut yourself free from all fantasies. You have to see with new eyes. You have to go beyond pain and become the architect of your own truth. They taught you forgiveness is half the cure. Accept the apology, patch the wound, trust that minds heal and love resurrects. Gifts, grand gestures, whispered, "I'm sorry, yes," they're ritualistic lies. But neuroscience spits in the face of these illusions. Brains don't forget, they rerun fear, replay suspicion. Emotions aren't soft blankets, they're electric storms, unpredictable, cruel. Habits are not accidental, they are predatory codes written deep into matter. Attraction isn't magic, it's dopamine, chemical warfare. Relationships are no safe haven, no temple of mutual worship. They are battlegrounds for dominance, repetition, and hidden patterns. The old belief: if he's remorseful, it's safe to trust again. The new reality: can you trust your own mind to spot the difference between manipulation and true change? Are you asking questions that reveal the rewiring beneath the apology, or just accepting another version of comfort? Science demands proof. Street philosophy demands cunning. Before you forgive, you must interrogate the very architecture of the cheater's mind. You must see the game for what it is, a contest of signals, not words. So you become the investigator. You break open the myth of sentimental recovery and look for the deepest truth. What does it take for brains, for habits, for emotions to actually change? Your 6 questions are surgical instruments, each designed to bypass the masks and dig straight into the machinery. You are not just seeking answers. You are testing reality itself. Question 1. What did you choose over me, and why? You fix your eyes on him, letting silence press against his ribs like the flat side of a knife. Then you ask, when you decided to cheat, what did she represent to you that I didn't? It is not an invitation for pity. It is a demand to analyze value. Brains operate by codes: what is desired, what is feared, what is seen as gain or loss. Psychology teaches values drive decisions, not love, not sentiment. Attraction is about novelty, symbolic need, not just beauty or chemistry. Street wisdom cuts deeper. The world isn't interested in your pain. It wants to know why, at the exact neural moment, his mind tipped in her direction. Was it excitement? Adventure? Did she symbolize freedom, unpredictability, rebellion? What did you symbolize? Stability, comfort, responsibility? A short story: you thought you were building a temple. He saw a cage. She was an open window. You were a locked door. The difference is not in your worth, but in the code running his mind. Demand clarity, not remorseful confusion. If he gives you a detailed map of values and desires, you'll know there's honesty somewhere inside. If it's vague, evasive, full of blame or script, he's not analyzing, just acting. Remember, meaning is found in contrasts, not confessions. The truth lives in the gaps between words, not in the words themselves. Question 2. What lie did you tell yourself? Twist the scalpel deeper. Next question. Right before you cross the line, what story did you spin to your own mind? Cheating is not just an act. It's a mental ritual. Every perpetrator must fabricate a narrative, some self-justifying logic, a cloak for guilt. Did he decide he was owed something? Did he convince himself you were too cold, too distant? Did he tell himself it was just a moment or that everyone slips? The psychology is brutal. Minds don't betray by accident. Habits are rehearsed until they obey. When it comes to cheating, the brain creates a pocket of anesthesia where consequence is dissolved and impulse is king. It is not about the body, it's about the story that numbs fear and inflames rebellion. Street philosophy says every sin lives twice, once in the action, once in the justification. You seek the story behind the story. Did he morph you into the villain? Did he minimize the cost, pretending nothing would change? The real narrative is where his loyalty breaks. Example, he tells you, I felt unseen, like I didn't matter. It isn't a confession, it's a justification, pure code. If he admits the exact lie, identifies the mental habit, you see the blueprint of his mind. If he dodges, stutters, or weaves blame, he's playing you. What you're hunting for is not just regret. You're looking for his willingness to pull the masks off his own logic, publicly, fearlessly. Only then can you test whether transformation is possible. Question 3. What does repetition mean to you? You sit up straighter, eyes narrowed, voice cool. Ask, what would truly happen emotionally, mentally, physically if you ever betrayed me again? Not just what you lose. What part of you dies? Real change is triggered not by love, but by fear. The mind learns through repetition by associating intense pain with dangerous behavior. Attraction is easy. Temporary guilt is easier. Permanent fear, existential dread, that is rare. Science says the threat of losing connection, respect, or identity can create new habits if the fear is deep enough, if the loss is visceral. Does he fear losing you? Or does he fear losing himself? Is his anxiety about rejection or about self-destruction? Example, you hear, I'd lose your trust. Weak answer. He needs to admit, I'd become someone I despise. I'd lose my own respect. The gravity of self-condemnation is stronger than the fading ache of separation. You want proof his mind is rewired to fear the act, not just the consequence. Philosophy asks, are we just slaves to dopamine, or is there a part of us worth protecting? Street intelligence says the only thing that stops betrayal is fear of inner collapse, not fear of being caught. You measure his mind for the presence of existential dread. This question isn't about protecting your heart. It's about mapping his brain for the signs of a genuine shift, a hard reset, not a rehearsed apology. Question 4. Can you describe the moment you regretted it, if it exists? The room breathes with tension, thicker, sharper. You tilt your head and fire. Was there a split second, a flash of awareness, where regret burned through the pleasure? Or was remorse only a distant echo after discovery? Emotion is not an apology. It's the stamp on the brain when reality twists. Psychology studies limbic spikes, the collision of reward circuitry and guilt pathways. Did his mind short-circuit? Did the dopamine crash into the cold wall of self-hatred? Or did he only feel sorry when caught? Sometimes regret is truth. Often, it's costume jewelry. You probe for genuine pain, not performative guilt. Example, he says, I knew it was wrong immediately. Analyze it. Did his voice tremble? Did he name a physical sensation like nausea or dread? Street philosophy reminds us the cheater's true regret is his own shattered image, not the victim's suffering. If he can't describe the moment, if regret is too slippery, too rehearsed, then he never touched the real cost. Your question isn't a trap. It's a diagnostic scan of his emotional brain. Only those who feel the burn at the source have any hope of changing the circuit. Question 5. How do you communicate with yourself when temptation hits? You lean forward, voice magnetic, words dripping with challenge. What does the dialogue in your mind sound like at the edge of cheating? What language do you use when you talk yourself into or out of betrayal? Most think communication is between lovers. They miss the plot. The greatest conversations are internal. When temptation rewires the brain, self-talk becomes a battleground. Does he negotiate with impulse? Rationalize? Hit pause or charge ahead? Example, he claims, I tell myself it's not worth it. Probe deeper. Does he use warnings, memories, future fears? Or is his self-talk built of denial, minimization, or animal craving? Science says habits are built from repeated mental scripts. Change the script, change the pattern. Street philosophy says if you want to trust someone again, make them recite their inner monologue at the moment it counts. Are his words those of a man fighting for loyalty or a man bargaining away his values for short-term thrill? You want to hear desperation, wisdom, battle, not a sleepwalking apology. Question 6. What are you doing to rewire your brain? Let the silence hum, then drop the atom bomb. If habits, impulses, and neurochemistry led you to cheat, what actions are you actually taking to transform who you are right now? He can offer words forever, but only acts disrupt neural circuits. Psychology says every thought repeated carves grooves, habits that become automatic. Recovery isn't a dream, it's a discipline of new rituals. Does he attend therapy, read viciously, meditate, rewrite his impulses? Example, he replies, I'm trying to be more present. Unpack it. What does trying look like at the synaptic level? Are there journal entries, burned bridges, accountability sessions? Is he attacking the roots of desire or just cutting the surface weeds? Street wisdom spits on empty effort. Real change is ugly. If he can't list rituals as precise as war, he's not fighting, he's hoping. You don't want hope, you want evidence. If he's building new brain pathways, chemistry, habits, you may have something solid. If he's just playing with words, prepare to vanish. Now, the truth punches you. The questions didn't just expose him, they tore you open. Frustration, knuckle white and soul hungry, blooms, then dissolves. You see the game for what it is, not a drama of love lost, but of minds misunderstood. You feel every rejection as a lesson in brain science, every misunderstanding as a symptom, not a curse. You understand now, her presence wasn't your defeat. His betrayal wasn't your failure. Attraction, communication, even loyalty, these are not gifts. They're built daily with chemicals and choices. The pain mutates from confusion to awareness. You grasp that emotion is not just noise, it's information, data for clarity, not cause for fog. Your power returns, slowly, confidently. The pain used to be a prison. Now it's a map. Awareness becomes weaponized. Pain is no longer your identity. It's your raw material. You stand taller, eyes harder, heart stripped of naivete. You stop hunting for apologies, start crafting boundaries. Confidence was once a myth, now it's a habit. Street philosophy, neuropsychology, personal history, they fuse in your blood. You are now both scientist and philosopher, examining, reframing, building a tougher architecture inside. You don't just leave the room. You own it. Attraction no longer seduces you, awareness does. Communication with others dissolves into communication with self. You wield rejection and misunderstanding as tools, not torments. Liberation and clarity are not soft, they're violent, dazzling forces. You don't wait to be handed strength. You create it by breaking all sentimental chains and by hacking reality. You discard everything they taught you about worth. The mind has been tricked, conditioned to believe loyalty is a birthright and attraction follows fairness. But your pain has taught you this. We are not what others do to us. We are the meanings we create from the chaos. You look at him, but your vision turns inward. The real question isn't, am I enough? The question is, what values pulse in me, untouched by someone else's choices? If a cheater can't see your value, it reflects a defect in his internal compass, not your currency. Philosophy and street code intersect. Self-worth is not transactional. It is gravitational. You set your own value frame, let others orbit, or collide and disappear. His betrayal is not a reduction of you, but a referendum on his ability to recognize gold from glitter. This is the science of self-affirmation. Neurons fire with new confidence every time you reject old stories and root your importance in your own system, not in the reactions of a faltering lover. From now on, this is about your mind, your emotional chemistry, your unshakable value. You understand the mechanisms now. Habits write destiny. Emotional pain is a feedback loop that the mind is thirsty to break. If he wants back in, he must be a practitioner of new rituals, not a worshiper at the altar of intention. Psychologists agree, habits do not break by wish, but by violence, active, repeated substitutions every single day. What wakes him at 2 a.m.? What triggers the urge to stray? Has he mapped it? Has he built new neural pathways to divert the flood when dopamine roars for novelty? You examine his story for evidence. Is there real discomfort, proof of rewiring, not just remorse? Has he replaced vulnerable moments with communication, accountability, even brutal honesty about his triggers? The science is merciless. Identity is molded by what the brain rehearses under stress. You do not accept hope. You demand process. This is the school of change. No one graduates without sweat and scars. Desire is not the villain. Suppression is not virtue. Street wisdom teaches the only dangerous mind is the unconscious one. If he treats temptation as a battle to be hidden, he worships at the altar of self-delusion. If he dissects desire, names it, studies it, talks about it, he becomes capable of resistance. Philosophy asks, can a mind be trusted if it denies its own weakness? Real men don't fear confession. They fear ignorance, self-blindness. Does he speak openly about how attraction works in his brain? Or does he shroud everything in secrecy, shame, and the dark poetry of denial? Every cheater who reforms did so by dragging his own darkness into the daylight of description. You want his mind to be transparent, not just to you, but, crucially, to himself. Only self-insight, the habit of describing temptation as it arises, can transmute weakness into strength. That's the new measure of trust. Not what he did, but how he narrates his every risk. Liberation is ugly at first. Acceptance is laced with acid. You look at him, maybe you stay, maybe you go. But what you accept isn't a cheater's apology. It's the uncontrollable reality of human brains, the unpredictability of relationships. You are no longer shocked by pain or chaos. You are fluent in it. You build your next step not on illusions of perfect loyalty, but on the brutal beauty of self-knowledge. The sting of rejection begins to morph, no longer a reflection of your inadequacy, but proof of your willingness to confront hard patterns, to ask the questions no one else dares ask. Radical acceptance is not surrender. It's refusing to water down reality. That's why your confidence bites now. It doesn't purr. Emotional pain only destroyed you until you turned it into the fuel for your next, truer identity. In this clarity, you realize boundaries are love spells only you can cast. Your new attraction isn't to him, not even to justice, but to the safety of your own vigilance. Communication becomes an act of self-care, distrust a kind of wisdom. You reserve your brain for those willing to answer your 6 questions with surgical honesty. You stare at him. Maybe you give him a second chance. Maybe you disappear like a ghost with iron bones. Either way, the code has changed forever. The questions turned you from the beggar of someone's love into the gatekeeper of your own mind. You are not here to be chosen. You are here to choose every word, every boundary, every future. In this transformed light, you see him, and finally, you see yourself. You know now, real communication isn't just speaking, it's pattern interruption. If he returns, begging for a second chance, demand more than words. Watch his body language. Does his speech falter when the topic is raw? Habits often hide inside gestures, in avoidant eyes, in the language of defense. Psychology teaches lasting change is tracked not by declarations, but by microsignals. Is he eager for ugly truth, or does he shrink from it? Has he trained himself to seek feedback, to own mistake after mistake, or does he gag at criticism? Observe the moments when instinct collides with intention. That's the crack where transformation either blooms or dies. Your questions have forced a recalibration of the field. The relationship, if it continues, will not resemble its old self. It will be governed by vigilance, emotional literacy, and the willingness to call out madness before it metastasizes. You are no longer negotiating with words. You are negotiating with proof. Desire used to be a storm that picked you up and dropped you anywhere. Now you command it. Attraction is no longer a blind tidal wave. It's a measured consequence of self-respect and hard boundaries. Rejection, once a wound, glistens with clarity, proof that you were choosing, not being chosen. The game of relationships was always a contest of value and gravity. You do not orbit around him, hoping for gravitational mercy. You are your own force field. You repurpose emotional pain as your compass. Every minute you spent confused or lost is now transmuted into gold, insight, confidence, the ability to reject anything that does not meet your 6-question standard. Your future partners will be measured by these questions, scrutinized for their neural honesty. Street philosophy is now your shield. Never apologize for demanding surgical answers. Attraction lasts when paired with vigilance. Confidence, once a whisper, has become your voice's architecture. It is not brash or brittle. It is cold, clean, and unwavering. The science of the brain taught you, thoughts repeated, beliefs rehearsed, values lived, confidence is built, not found. You use philosophy like a scalpel, never flinching from ugliness. You dissect flattery and romance, slice through sentimental traps. You are not anti-love, you are anti-delusion. You worship only reality. Your confidence is now fused with a kind of respectful suspicion. Communication is no longer a performance. Everything in love is tested by your 6 questions, scanned for psychological substance and philosophical integrity. You've reprogrammed your mind. Confidence is a ritual, not a mood. Emotional pain sharpened your blade, and now you lead every conversation, every connection with clarity. Liberation is a hard birth. You don't just escape his betrayal. You transcend the whole broken architecture of old relationships. You are not seeking to prevent future heartbreak. You are seeking to turn heartbreak into the DNA of your next evolution. Frustration is now your teacher, confusion your fuel, uncertainty your invitation to deeper vision. You appreciate pain as the entrance to awareness. Inner strength emerges not from what you survived, but from what you built in response. The 6 questions are your ritual. Every lover, every friend, every colleague who asks for trust must pass your test. Pain taught you the value of clean beginnings, of confidence as a lived philosophy, of autonomy as the only true seduction. You close the door, not with anger, but with certainty. Liberation crackles in your aura. The room is quiet. You hear your heart, but now it's the drumbeat of transformation. Every idea about relationships, the mind, and forgiveness, the old lies, have been hacked apart and reborn in you. You do not apologize for being ruthless. 6 questions are your armor, your mirror, your map. You will never again betray yourself for comfort. Psychology formed your backbone. Street philosophy guides your instincts. Emotional pain forged your vision. You will love only in truth. You will communicate with surgical precision. You will never be fooled by habits or hypnotized by empty remorse. Reject cliché, demand substance. The world waits, but you move first. Choose strength. Every answer is the beginning of your next evolution.